I'm not here to pretend I wrote this book. I didn't. This is my independent take on the ideas in Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, translated into plain, practical language you can use today. Think of this as a field guide to presence in everyday life. I'm going to answer 5 questions in this video, one by one. What does it actually mean to live in the now? If I'm not my mind, then who am I in daily life? At work, with family, in traffic? What is the thing the book calls the pain body? And how do I stop feeding it? How do I handle goals, time, and big problems without losing presence? And what does surrender look like when life gets messy, unfair, or urgent? If any part of you is tired of being dragged around by thoughts, moods, and endless to-do lists, stay with me. We'll keep this warm, honest, and useful. Let's start with the first question. What does it actually mean to live in the now? I'm not asking you to adopt a belief. I'm inviting you to test an experience. Wherever you are, feel the weight of your body where you're sitting or standing. Feel a single breath from start to finish. Noticing the breath and the body is like tapping the home button on your awareness. For a moment, the mind's commentary softens and something quieter comes into focus, raw contact with what's here before labels and judgments land. That contact is the doorway to presence. In the book's language, you could say, attention is reclaiming itself from the noise of compulsive thinking and resting in the living moment. Here's an everyday picture. A friend of mine dreaded Monday mornings. He would wake into a flood of notifications and start the week already tight and short of breath. He tried a tiny shift, 3 full breaths before touching the phone. That micro pause didn't magic away his workload, but it did dissolve the hidden resistance that says, this shouldn't be happening. He met the day as it was, and suddenly, the energy he'd spent fighting reality became energy available for wise action. Living in the now is not zoning out. It's full contact with what's real. You still remember yesterday and plan for tomorrow. You just stop making a home in memory and projection. You return again and again to the only place choices can be made. This conversation, this email, this step, this breath. Presence doesn't shrink your life. It clears the fog so you can see it. Takeaway for part 1. Create tiny islands of presence through anchors. Pick one physical anchor, washing your hands, one transition, entering a room, and one social cue, hearing your name. Each time an anchor happens, feel one breath and silently ask, what is actually here now? Dozens of one-breath visits add up to a steadier attention and a calmer nervous system. If I'm not my mind, then who am I in daily life? The mind is an amazing tool for planning, creating, and learning. It becomes a problem only when you mistake its voice for who you are. In practice, confusion looks like this. You're lost in thought and don't know you're thinking. The way out isn't to bully the mind into silence. It's to notice, with simple clarity, that you can observe a thought. If you can watch a thought, you aren't the thought. That little bit of space is already freedom. Try this quick experiment. Close your eyes and listen for your next thought, like you're waiting for a faint sound. In the gap, before it arrives, you notice a clear, alert presence. That alertness is what you are before the story. From there, thoughts can come and go without dragging you along. Let me put this in a messy workplace moment. You're in a meeting and someone questions your idea. Instantly a sentence flashes. They don't respect me. If you fuse with that sentence, your body tightens and you get defensive. But if you feel your feet on the floor and one breath in your belly right as the sentence appears, the spell breaks. You hear what was actually said, not the script in your head. You might still disagree. Presence isn't meekness, but your response is sane and proportionate, not a reflex. Presence also has a simple body doorway. When you inhabit your body, feeling a subtle sense of aliveness throughout your hands, your chest, your legs, you anchor attention in the now and stop getting swept away so easily. It's like walking with your inner roots down. Thoughts still happen, emotions still happen, but they don't own you. Takeaway for part 2. Practice watch the thinker in 1-minute reps. Set a timer a few times a day. For 60 seconds, don't try to stop thoughts. Notice each one as it arrives and label it softly. Thinking, thinking. Feel your hands or your breath while you do it. This breaks the old habit of total identification and makes space for a steadier self-sense. Third question, what is the pain body, and how do I stop feeding it? The book uses pain body to point to the accumulated, unprocessed emotional pain we carry, old grief, anger, fear, that can wake up and take us over. When it's active, the smallest trigger can unleash a storm that's wildly out of proportion to what's happening now. You can feel it as a heaviness in the chest, heat in the face, a buzzing charge through the body, and a sudden urge to blame or attack. In those moments, the pain body wants more pain. It seeks drama, conflict, or self-attack as food, and it feeds on identification, on you believing, this storm is me. The move that changes everything isn't fighting the pain, it's shining attention on it without judgment. The moment you realize a heavy mood is here, shift from story to sensation. Where is it in your body? Throat, gut, chest. Keep attention in the sensation like you would hold a crying child, with warmth, not lectures. If a narrative tries to hook you, they always, I never, come back to raw feeling. As conscious presence stays with the energy, the identification loosens. You're no longer inside the storm. You're the sky around it. The pain body can't digest presence. It loses momentum because you're not feeding it with defensiveness, blame, or more thinking. Here's a small, ordinary example. You send a message and get no reply. 10 minutes later, the inner weather has already flipped. You're tight-jawed, building a case. That's usually the pain body latching onto a thought and trying to recruit you into action. If you fire off a shaming text, you'll get a short hit of righteousness. Then the storm asks for more. But if you pause, feel the ache and heat directly, and give it 90 seconds of clean attention, something softens. You can still follow up, but you won't be acting from the storm. Takeaway for part 3. When strong emotion surges, do the name, locate, breathe protocol. Name it softly. Anger is here. Locate it precisely in the body and breathe into that exact spot for 90 seconds without adding any sentence to it. If a thought intrudes, label it thinking and return to sensation. This interrupts the old fueling loop and lets the energy discharge. Fourth question, how do I handle goals, time, and big problems without losing presence? We live with calendars, deadlines, and plans. There's nothing wrong with time. The trouble starts when time turns psychological, when you mostly live in the past or the future and treat the present like a stepping stone. Then the mind whispers, relief is later, after the launch, after the promotion, after they change. But life is never later. Action only ever happens now. If you miss now in pursuit of a better later, you miss your life. Pragmatically, the move is to keep using clock time, remembering, planning, setting goals, while returning your primary attention to this step. Plan now, work now, learn from yesterday now. You give your fullest attention to the next honest action, not to a storyboard in your head. From presence, your doing gets cleaner because it's not contaminated by inner resistance. Take a heavy example, money stress. The mind tries to solve the entire future in one sitting and melts down. Presence says, narrow the beam. First, acknowledge the facts of this moment without dramatizing. Second, breathe into the belly until your stress response softens even 5%. Third, ask, what is the one next step life is asking of me now? Make the call. Open the spreadsheet. Ask for help. When your attention drifts into catastrophic movies, escort it back to this next step, not as self-denial, but as intelligent focus. Repeat. Takeaway for part 4. Install a pre-action ritual. Before any important task, take 30 seconds to feel your feet and one slow breath, and say inwardly, I allow this moment to be as it is. Then do the next doable thing. Acceptance first, then action. It's not giving up. It's removing inner friction so your action is effective. 5th question. What does surrender look like when life is messy, unfair, or urgent? Surrender is often misunderstood as passivity. Here it means dropping inner resistance to what is already the case right now. It's a clean yes to the fact that this moment exists before you choose your response. When you stop arguing with reality, your intelligence is free to respond effectively. Imagine you're stuck in traffic on the way to something important. The mind's attempt to help is to narrate doom. Notice how that tightens your body and narrows awareness. Surrender sounds different. This is the situation now. Feel your hands on the wheel. Notice the breath. Accept that cars are not moving in this moment. From there, do what you can. Call ahead. Reschedule. Find a new route. Without poisoning yourself with resistance. The external fact may not change right away, but the inner war stops. Paradoxically, your actions improve because you're no longer acting from agitation. Zoom this out to illness, loss, or endings you never wanted. Surrender doesn't ask you to call it good. It invites you to let the truth of the moment be fully felt without mental labels. That yes reconnects you with a steadier peace that isn't dependent on circumstances. From that peace, courage and clarity show up, often in small, practical ways, making the uncomfortable phone call, telling the truth kindly, resting when you'd usually push, asking for help. Takeaway for part 5. Try the 3-step yes. 1. Feel the body and say inwardly, this is what is here. 2. Soften the belly and jaw. Take 3 slower breaths. 3. Ask, given this reality, what's the kindest, most effective next step? Then do only that. Keep attention rooted in the now as you move. 6th and final question. How do I make presence a way of life, not just a nice idea? You don't wait for silence to find you. You build a friendly rhythm of remembering. Pair presence with daily activities, brewing coffee, starting the car, opening the laptop, brushing your teeth. Each time, feel the inner aliveness throughout your body for a few seconds. Practice listening as a spiritual exercise. When someone speaks, place attention in your body and let their words land fully before you reach for a reply. That small pause lets something wiser than reactivity respond. Expect to forget. That's not failure. It's part of the training. The instant you notice you've been lost in a story for 20 minutes, that noticing is presence. Smile at the discovery and come back. Over time, you'll notice subtle changes, less interest in unnecessary drama, more space around strong feelings, quicker recovery after being triggered, and a quieter kind of joy that doesn't need a reason. These are signs that attention is resting more often in the living moment, instead of being yanked around by past and future. Presence doesn't make you special. It makes you simple and available. Available to the person in front of you, to the work that needs doing, to the beauty that has always been here, to the pain that wants to be felt and released, and to the quiet aliveness that is your deepest nature. You'll still plan, remember, and strive, just from the only place you can live, here. Takeaway for part 6. Choose one daily practice, keep it light, and be consistent for a month. For example, before every email you send, feel one full breath. Before you speak in any meeting, feel your feet. When irritation arises, name it and find it in the body for 90 seconds. Let presence weave into the fabric of ordinary life until it becomes ordinary to be present. I'll end with this. Peace is not a prize at the end of a perfect day. It's the quiet strength available underneath the noise in this exact moment. Meet this moment as it is, then act again and again. That's the power of now, not as a slogan, but as something you can feel and use starting today.